Okay, so now we want to know, Kevin Eubank here with us, what are we actually looking at, from the sky where Felicia was and, while we're out and about?
Well, it's an interesting thing. Inversion season typically runs from Thanksgiving to Valentine's Day. That's the most likely time that we're prone to valley inversions here. We're always prone to inversions. And what happens is when you've got 11, 12, 13,000 mountain peaks on each side of the valley, you just have a natural depression. And so things start to accumulate. Now, cold air likes to sink, warm air likes to rise. When you get an inversion, what that means is cold air gets trapped in the lower valleys, and above it, a warm layer moves in. That traps the cold air down in the lower elevations, and so what starts to form is you get the snow that starts to melt, puts in water vapor. Then the pollutants in the air attach and start to create bad air pollution in that. So when you see that haze in the valley, it's not all pollution. It's a combination of water vapor and pollutants, but it's terrible to breathe. It's horrible to look at. And when you actually go to the exclusive KSL Air Quality Network, you can see how bad it is. I want to take you and show you. This is up in Cache Valley, and you can see the red. That means it's unhealthy. The orange is an unhealthy for sensitive individuals. And so many of the stations around are dealing with horrible air. Now, you get up into the mountains, you can see the yellow, which is moderate, and the green up in those higher elevations. That's because they're up above what that trapped layer of cold air is.
And what is the elevation for being
The elevation right now is about 7,000 feet. So in the valley, it's trapped to about 58, almost 6,000. And then when you get up through the Cottonwood Canyons and you get up into Parley's, you can see Parley Summit Park, they're up at the 6,500. They're out of it. And so, but look at the valley. I mean, it's horrific. And this whole week, we just heard from our UCare representative that it doubles the pollutant amount every day you go through. This thing looks to stay about this way all the way through Friday. A weekend storm Saturday, Sunday will help mix it out. But everything we put into the atmosphere now stays under this environment. So if you can write mass transit, you can do carpool, you can do whatever that is, everything you do matters right now.
Kevin, one last question. There has been record, this is not anything new. There has been record of this even before the pioneers.
Yeah, and the inversion goes back hundreds of years, as long as the pioneers have been in this valley. So it isn't that the inversion will ever go away in the valley. It's how much pollution is trapped in that inversion. So we have more people living here along the Wasatch Front than ever before. We have more technology, we have more emissions going on, and so the air out there right now is probably that it's the worst it's ever been in the valley. But even back to the pioneer days, even back to the Indian days, they were burning coal, they were burning wood. There were some pretty heavy pollutants in the air even back then, but the difference is now we know it, we understand it, we know the science behind it, and we can make a difference. And we all should be good stewards of what goes out into the atmosphere. Even though we can't control the inversion, we can control how much we're putting out into it by our actions.
Right, key there. You can't control the inversion, but you can control what you do put out. So a lot of tips there. Kevin, thank you. Appreciate it.
Thanks a lot.